It's draft season, which means it's also mock draft time. We'll run through the first six picks of this week's mock draft on Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings.
You are Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings. Your daily podcast on the future stars of the NBA. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. My name is Tyler Metcalf. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Join me, as always, is my co-host, Tyler Rucker. Rucker, got mock draft season, baby.
A mock draft season. I'm excited for this, Metcalf. This is going to be a fun little exercise for the folks at home, and I think this is going to be some juiciness, some juicy picks, but going one by one. What a draft class we have coming in. So excited for this one.
Yeah, in case you're like, well, oh, you guys are just doing a mock draft with 6 picks? Cool. What an exercise. Wrong. We're doing 6 picks today, and then tomorrow we're doing another 6. Not us. We got different voices all over the feed. Obviously, Tuesday, Nathan and Maxwell will be making their 6 picks, alternating. Albert and Corey on Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday making that group of 6 picks, and then Corey and Albert will be rounding it out on Friday. But this felt like a fun way to incorporate a bunch of different voices, because when the draft actually happens, there are a lot of different teams with different priorities and voices and opinions and evaluations, just like we at No Ceilings all have as well. So this felt like a little more feasible, a little more, a much quicker way to do the whole process, because as No Ceilings Plus subscribers are familiar with, it can take hours when we do it by consensus. This is also in spirit of our mock draft, our first mock draft that got really weird because we did Tankathon Sim over at NoCeilingsNBA.com last week. We got big board rankings up this week. Make sure to go check all that out and on the No Ceilings YouTube channel. But today we got picks 1 through 6. We just went straight Tankathon standings as of Sunday morning. So if you're like, oh, this isn't the order, it was on Sunday morning. We didn't do a sim. Real quick, I'm just going to run through 1 through 30 just to cover our bases. We'll recap the picks and everything each day. But at number 1, we have the Washington Wizards, 2 Indiana Pacers, 3 Brooklyn Nets, 4 Atlanta Hawks via the Pelicans. What a trade. 5 Dallas Mavericks, 6 Oklahoma City Thunder via the Clippers. 7 the Jazz, 8 Hornets, 9 Kings, 10 Celtics, 11 Grizzlies, 12 Grizzlies via the Magic, 13 Spurs via the Hawks, 14 Hornets via the Suns, 15 Warriors, 16 Raptors, 17 Bulls via the Blazers, 18 Timberwolves, 19 Heat, 20 Thunder via the Rockets, 21 Knicks, 22 Bulls, 23 Bucks, 24 Thunder via the 76ers, 25 Lakers, 26 Hawks via the Cavs, 27 Cavs via the Spurs, 28 Nuggets, 29 Pistons, 30 Wizards via the Thunder. Enough of names and numbers. First pick, Tyler Rucker. You are on the clock for your adopted team, the Washington Wizards. They finally got some lottery luck. They get the number 1 pick. Been searching for it for a few years now. What direction are you thinking of going in?
I just also want to let everybody know that we haven't told everybody else. The other hosts that are doing this, we haven't told them. So this is going to be kind of a surprise after. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, we're on the clock now. Wizards fans. I'm an honorary Wizards fan. Everyone knows this on the Wizards fan base. But so this would be a dream. But I also think it would be a bit of a, oh my gosh, what direction are you going? You're getting some good growth from a couple guys this year. From, Kaishan George, you're getting Alex Sarr, looks fantastic lately. So what do? Do you build that backcourt, or do you double down with the front court and get yourself a running mate along Alex Sarr? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Cam Boozer at 1. The Duke big man, I'm going to put him next to Sarr and get me a high intangibles winner that does a lot of the little things at a high level, and give me an enforcer, someone that kind of could be that voice of that team, and I think really brings the pieces together. I'd love Darryn there too, but I like Boozer, with DC. I like this a lot.
Was there any temptation to go Darryn Peterson, AJ DeBonsa?
Honestly, I love Darryn. The fit just, hey, for a team like the Wizards, you take the best guy. You don't care about the position right now. You take the best guy. I think it would come down to just who they feel the best about, because I think you can make a really long, really loud argument for AJ there. I think
Yeah.
AJ could fit really, really well with what they've got going on. But I love Boozer. That's the number one guy on my board.
Okay.
And I think he would fit perfectly for really just being a smart pick for that organization. So I'm going to go with Boozer.
Okay. Yeah. And because when you're talking about, top 3 picks, and it's always tricky when you start factoring in, oh, well, is the fit right? It's like, fit doesn't matter
right.
here. You suck.
Yeah.
You just need talent. Who cares about fit?
I'm just so happy you won the lottery that you're like, whatever we love the best, pick it, and we'll figure out everything else later. Like,
right. But it's just an important point, too, that you love the fit with Boozer, and he's also the number 1 player.
The number 1 guy. Yes, thank you for
enough.
backing me up, because people will come after me like that. But I would just be so excited because he's the number 1 guy on my board, and I love the fit, and I love the upside. Still, it would just be I sleep like a baby.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, and the way that SAR's really growing into pressuring the rim more, attacking the rim, being a little more physical, leaning into doing the big man things a little more this year. I think that'd be a really fun pairing, and really help with their rebounding and some of their defensive issues as well. Okay, number 2 at the second pick, the Indiana Pacers are on the clock, and this is incredibly easy for me. I'm sprinting to the podium. Number 1 player on my board is there. I think the fit is incredible. Darryn Peterson, shooting guard from Kansas. Welcome to the Pacers, buddy. Grew up in Ohio, so hey, kind of nearby, from where he grew up. But having a backcourt of Darryn Peterson and Tyrese Halliburton for the next 10 to 15 years, that sounds like a lot of fun to me. I love Darren's ability to create on ball. I love his playmaking. I love his decision making. I love his scoring versatility. He's still a shooting guard in my eyes. And having that point guard alongside him, who's one of the best point guard playmakers in the league, who's a table setter, who's also a versatile player, who can play off ball, who can play with pace, who can, just spot up instead, and not having to have the ball in his hands all the time to make an impact. I think it's an incredible pairing. I think Darren's athleticism and pace and ability to get up and down the court would fit really well with their style on both ends of the floor as well. So I would be ecstatic. And just as like a neutral basketball fan, this would make the Pacers even more fun to watch than they already are.
Couldn't be a better fit for a young, off-ball guard, young shooting guard coming into the league to all of a sudden be like, hey, not only did we draft Darryn, but we also got that Halliburton guy back in the mix. Like, it would be an unbelievable backcourt duo for years and years to come. So I think that would be a great fit.
And AJ's still tempting there.
Yes.
I think him learning not behind, but like alongside from a guy like Pascal Siakam, I think would do wonders for his game. And I think it's just number 1 on my board. And I think he's about as ready-made as you could possibly be. All right, we'll get to the Brooklyn Nets, who are on the clock right after a quick break. Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood Strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I love that what you see is what you pay. No hidden fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right, quick recap. At number 1, Washington Wizards, you took Cam Boozer. At number 2, Indiana Pacers, I took Darryn Peterson. At number 3, the Brooklyn Nets are going with who? Tyler Rucker.
I'm sprinting to the podium just like you did for Indiana. I'm gonna get one of Brooklyn, a perfect fit for the Nets. I'm gonna take AJ DeBanza from BYU forward. Incredible upside. I like him going there, and you get to just say, hey, be the face of the franchise. We got all this young class of a bunch of upside rookie guards. Gets to go there with BYU legend Yegor Demin. So there you go. And a new wave of Brooklyn basketball. But hey, AJ could be, we just talked about, he could be in the conversation for those first 2 picks easily. Special two-way player. A lot of crazy, crazy fun upside. And I think, right now I have him at 3. But it's one of those, you just get one of these 3 and you'd be ecstatic.
Totally agree. This would be very easy. It'll be fascinating in a couple of months if this continues, or if one of those top 2 guys, maybe drops down a little bit and AJ just continues to pull away, or if someone catches up and really challenges for that 3rd spot. But we've known this for months, that it's those top 3 guys and then kind of a gap for most of the other guys, and whoever falls in that 3rd spot, you're still walking away feeling like you're getting a number 1 caliber pick. And Brooklyn just continues to look for that franchise cornerstone to build around, and they don't have it. They keep kind of drafting some fun pieces that I like, who I think can elevate the play of stars, but they don't have that star franchise cornerstone yet. And AJ is the exact type of guy who can be that. So they let, in the last year's draft, they brought in a bunch of ball handling, a bunch of playmaking, a bunch of high field players, some unfortunately who can't even get on the court yet. But AJ's that heliocentric, that the sun that everything else revolves around, where he can create for others, he can get to the rim, he can score wherever he needs to, and defend at a really high level. So I think that just makes too much sense almost.
Yeah, when you're rebuilding, you eventually got to get to the point where you're like, can we find the guy that we just say, here's the ball, please go to work? And that it's the perfect guy to do that. So you get the pieces around AJ that can feed him, and at the end of a game when it's close, you have a guy that can definitely, you could feed and let him go to work. So I love that fit.
And especially the way that, how well that team just continues to be coached. And every report you'll hear about AJ is how much he wants to be coached, how desperate he wants to be good. And it's like, all right, if you're really buying in, this coaching staff is going to get the absolute most out of him, which makes it just as exciting.
Absolutely.
Okay. At number 4, the Atlanta Hawks are picking using the New Orleans Pelicans pick. Man, this would be an awesome pick for the Pelicans to have. Sorry, Pelicans fans. I'm going with the guy that we thought was a lottery ticket over the summer, and the more and more he plays, the less and less like a lottery ticket and more of a sure thing he continues to look like. I think he fits in perfectly with a lot of the forwards and wings and guys with length and athleticism and defense and rebounding that the Hawks have continuously gone after. I'm going Caleb Wilson, 6'10".
I like that.
6'10" freshman forward from North Carolina. I think he would fit like a glove with how they continue to build out that roster.
Look, coming into this year, there was a big 3, and right now I think we're at a point where almost becoming a fantastic 4. It's unbelievable what Caleb Wilson has looked like to start this year, and Atlanta is going to be doing a backflip that they would even be picking at 4. So if you got Caleb Wilson on that roster, I don't care what that roster looks like. You got to just take the best player and be giving high fives around the war room, because you're like, gosh, we made this trade. We waited a year and we got Caleb Wilson. I think that would be an exceptional get for this organization.
And I get that there might be some pushback of like, oh, well, like they have Jalen Johnson and Risa Shea, and like they have a lot of these kind of athletic, rangy forwards. I think that's a skill set and an archetype that, one, you can't have too much of. But I also think he has the upside to be so much more than that, especially on the defensive end. I think there could be some temptation to go like, oh, maybe we need a point guard for the future if Trae Young, but everything they continue to do every year kind of tells us that they're still in the Trae Young business. So I'm not sure a Michael Brown pick here makes a ton of sense. And I just think the upside and overall impact with Caleb and the way that he just continues to grow is so fascinating. Plus, they have other first round picks later where they can fill out some needs as well.
Yeah, that's the fun part of every draft is when we remember, like, hey, they have more picks too. That's a smart team. They can build through the draft. So I like the pick there. I think you take the highest upside too. We always say when you're drafting that early, you don't obsess over fit or need.
Yeah.
You try to take the best upside talent and then figure it out. So maybe need was more of what I meant. So they don't need a lot of stuff there, but you best take the best player on your board and just figure it out later.
Would this pick for you be any different if it was actually the Pelicans making it?
No, it wouldn't. Right now, things can change. Obviously, we've seen plenty of times. Everyone's really determined that they've figured out the top 10 of the draft for the full
it's
year.
early November, so yeah, things don't change.
But things change. Things change, but right now there's 4 beasts, I think, right now, and you could tell when you're watching them compared to everybody else. You're like, these 4 stick out in a really big way, and I think if it was New Orleans picking, sorry, Pelicans fans, I would be taking Caleb there, and be a fun one. Be a fun one to have. But it's also, hey, Derek Queen's been looking great right now, so you hope that works out.
Yeah. And I just, when you think about adding Wilson's length, athleticism, defense to the mix with Herb Jones and Trey Murphy.
Yeah, but we don't have to do that. This is cruel and unusual punishment for them.
Imagine how much fun they would actually be. With Jeremiah Fears at point, he's been looking good. He looks good. Shocker.
But Queen looks good too. I never hated the Queen trade. I hated that there was no battle for protections. That's why I hated that you didn't at least have a dream of, like, in the lottery of being like, just get outside the top 3, or if you get in the 3, we keep it. That's why. That's what I hated. Unprotected is just like, wow. But we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. So it's fine.
All right. Well, something that we obviously won't hate will be the next 2 picks for the Dallas Mavericks and Oklahoma City Thunder right after this quick break. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Quick recap. At number 1, the Washington Wizards took Cam Boozer. At number 2, the Indiana Pacers took Darryn Peterson. At 3, the Brooklyn Nets took AJ DeBonsa. At 4, the Atlanta Hawks, thanks to the New Orleans Pelicans, took Caleb Wilson. It almost feels mean that I keep rubbing in that it's from the Pelicans.
Yeah, we need to probably cut that out.
I think we should add more of it. I think when we're around
pick
pick 10, I hope that Nathan and Maxwell insert. But just remember what the Hawks did at 4, thanks to the Pelicans. At 5, the Dallas Mavericks are taking who? Tyler Rucker.
I'm tired of the Cooper Flag point guard experiment, so I'm going to get me a dang good point guard in this class. I'm going to take Mikal Brown Jr. from Louisville. At the beginning of the year, I thought this was cemented as my number 4th guy on my big board. The tough part about doing that with young guards is they usually take some time to really find their groove, and especially as a freshman, jump into another level of competition. Point guard's a tough position. As Mavericks fans might know right now, the point guard position is a little tough to adjust to. So we're going to get them some more help. Kyrie's not getting younger. You got to get some upside and firepower there. And, yes, you're drafting that position, but still, what better position for a young guard to come into than with all that talent on that team? So I like it. Mikal is a 6'5", crazy high feel, good character, high intangibles player that, late growth spurt. We love those type of guys, but can really shoot it too. So this is a very talented player that I would love this fit.
Point guard is so hard. And it just, too frequently we let the outliers who immediately hit the ground running in the league be like, oh, this is the norm. It's like, no, it's never the norm. It's never been the norm. It takes a long time. So And I think the same tends to go for college too, a lot of the time. Just to play devil's advocate, because this also would have been my pick. I love this pick. I think it's a perfect fit in terms of upside talent, team fit, roster needs, all that kind of stuff. But just real quick, devil's advocate, any concerns over the 33.3% from three? Obviously only 2 games at this point, averaging 4.5 turnovers per game. Any concerns with those 2 factors, or is it just feeling out the new team, adjusting to speed, physicality, all that kind of stuff?
Speed and physicality. You know, I've watched the games. I've watched the tape with Metcalf, and there's if anything more promising, there's a couple shots where you're like, whoa, what was that? And then quick in-game adjustments. And some of it's heat check, some of it's like, hey, you really forced that one. And then all of a sudden, the next time he has that opportunity, you can already see just boom, adjustment, like on the fly. That's the stuff you like to see with a young guard. It's like the in-game adjustments of like, that didn't work. I shouldn't do that anymore. Okay, I haven't done it. And you learn quickly. So I think he'll be fine. We're going to get to a point this year where we're like, have you seen his game stretches? And that's the more important thing, is that you're not seeing those bad habits stay around. You're seeing them go away quick enough. That's a young guard learning like, hey, this is what I can and cannot get away with. The biggest thing with him this year is finishing. We got to see the finishing numbers improve. And I think the last game, you know, he had a couple times where he aggressively got downhill and finished with authority, where you're like, that'll work. We'll take that. So there's special playmaking. There's incredible vision that you just can't teach with any typical guard. That I think Michael's got those tools.
Totally agree. I also think his ability to play off ball when they have Cooper as that primary creator is also a huge benefit long term. So a lot of malleability, a lot of upside, a lot of skill, a lot of fun. Very excited to see what he looks like in December and January and February and 5 years from now, because the growth trajectory on him has been incredible. All right, next up, the Oklahoma City Thunder via the Los Angeles Clippers.
Every time.
What do you get? The team that has everything? And you know, why not just another lottery ticket? This is a guy in the preseason I was being a little patient on. I'm done with it. I'm in. I'm buying in. Came from overseas, was in Greece last year, 6'9", 215-pound wing guard, whatever you want to call him, at Virginia Tech. Just had an incredible monster game against Providence. I'm going Neo Avdilas for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It might be a little rich.
Swinging. Good luck to the rest of the contestants in this mock draft. Wow. Okay, I like this. And because the team for OKC would take this swing if you buy in.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, can we get a 6'9" shooting, high feel, incredible playmaker?
And that's who they go after.
That's what they go after. They go after the versatility, the multi-skilled guys.
They don't need someone to contribute immediately. They're loaded. They're stacked. They're deep. But you get them assimilated to the culture and all of that kind of stuff in year one. And then year two, now he's running out and having to break out like AJ Mitchell is.
There's a scary world that's going to happen with Neo. I like to call him Neo because I think he's from the Matrix. There's a scary world with Neo. Everyone's getting really excited about this recent performance. And if you go look at their schedule, there is a very favorable schedule coming up for him. So he is going to make a lot of very loud noise. I don't think they play Duke for what
numbers,
like a couple months.
I think January 31st.
And he's got a while to cook, folks. Like he's got to cook for a little bit. Yeah, if he could get on a real heater and people be like, what is his numbers? So yeah, everyone woke up. This is a big year for him, and I think coming into this year, we're like, it could go one or two ways. He could either explode, or just be like, and it's like, we're finding out. It took one game, 2 games for him to explode. So that's a fun one, Metcalf. That's a really fun. But they're not going to trade this pick. They're going to keep swinging. They're going to keep adding guys.
Yeah,
this is what they do.
Because they're very expensive. You get all-star talent.
Wave them in. Yep,
on cheap contracts. And if you see guys like Chet, J-Dub, and Shea sacrificing, it's like, all right, it's like it's the old Spurs model. It's like, Tim Duncan's sacrificing and getting chewed out at practice. Well, I can't really say anything right now, and I think it makes a ton of sense. Everyone who they always target has high feel. They can dribble, pass, shoot, and defend. So far, he can do all of that. Obviously, we got to see the shooting maintain all year, but the shots that he was hitting in that Providence game, and if you're like, oh, that sounds like something that'd be awesome to watch a breakdown on, head over to No Ceilings YouTube. I did a film school on it. Go watch it. It was a fun game. But it was like high difficulty stuff. He wasn't just standing in the corner. There was some catch and shoot stuff, but there's also mid-range step back threes, utilizing his rim pressure as a tool to set up jumpers, real craft and patience and creativity out of the pick and roll, and then some encouraging, inconsistent, but encouraging defensive stuff as well. So it's like, man, I get it's one game, but it's also one game building off of what he did last year in Greece in a pro league, and now doing it right off the bat against a good Providence team. I know Providence isn't a national contender or anything, but they're a good team, well coached. They have some talent. So it wasn't some community college that some of these other guys are playing either.
It's this look. OKC is currently slotted to have 4 first-round picks. It's just ridiculous to say out loud. 4 first-round picks this year in the stack draft. So if you're like, hey, they could use help here, well, they have the picks to do it. I think in a couple months we could say that there's some other names that are coming up here that I really like. I like Hans Steinbeck from Washington. I think could be a very OKC Thunder player. But at this pick, you're swinging. You're swinging for like, we see something there that's like unbelievable upside. And you're right, Metcalf. They keep getting all these guys and all this talent. You keep your foundation and you try to keep guys and develop them. But eventually you're going to be like, we can't keep this guy. We have to keep finding replacements. You know, AJ Mitchell's unbelievable for them. Are they going to be able to keep him? We'll find out. But you eventually just keep taking talent.
Yeah.
Keep taking them. We'll figure it out. It's a great problem to have. Like, you have all these picks. Everyone's like, why don't they just trade it for all? Because those are going to be high cap guys. You want to just keep getting, unbelievable value with your picks. And that's why I think, Neo makes a ton of sense. You get a scary wrinkle with this team and then another dangerous weapon. So yeah, that's a fun one. It's a little spicy, but it's also not that crazy right now.
I love it. Let's have some fun. I'm really excited for this, for this exercise. I imagine we'll be doing it all year. But this first one, I'm really excited because it's going to get weird. It's going to get funky. Nathan and Maxwell will be up on Tuesday.
I like that we started it. Yeah. I'm not excited to get it.
I'm not pumped for the future ones where we get the middle of the first round, where we mix up the order and we get different voices picking the first 6 picks. And then we're left with, oh no.
Yeah.
It'll get weird. It's going to be fun. Bunch of different viewpoints. Can't wait to see how it unfolds. Nathan and Maxwell will be making their 6 picks on Tuesday. Corey and Albert will be making their first 6 on Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday making picks 19 through 24. And then Corey and Albert will be rounding out the first round on Friday. But until then, he is Tyler Rucker. You can follow him at Tyler_Rucker. I'm Tyler Metcalf. You can follow me at TMetcalf11. Thank you for listening to Locked On NBA Draft with No Ceilings and making us your first listen every day.